What's up, guys and girls? Welcome back to the 307 podcast and another comms check with me, Chad. Appreciate you guys tuning in. First of all, why do I even call this a comms check? Well, it goes back to when I was in the SEAL teams. When I was with my platoon, before we would step off on a mission, the last thing we would do is we'd gather up in a circle and we would go through each person in the platoon and check and make sure that we could hear each other over comms, over our radios. That was a comms check. It was to ensure that all of our radios were working, the lines of communication were open, and we were all on the same channel. So you just simply key up on your radio and say radio check, and whoever was listening would say good check. And that would go through the whole platoon. So that's what a comms check is. That's why I call these episodes comms checks, is because I want to make sure that me and all of you guys listening are all on the same channel. There is a brief description of where comms check came from. In case you were wondering, because I had a call with a bunch of our Patreon supporters yesterday. I think I did 10 calls yesterday, 15-minute phone calls, just to get to know you guys, and on a more personal level. And that question came up. What is this comms check? And all right, so there's the explanation. Look, this is going to be kind of a two-part episode right here. I don't have any scripture for you today, at least not right this minute. This is just going to be me talking through some of my thoughts for the week. So first things first, there are no life hacks. There is no secret answer to success. There's no secret thing that's going to make your life easier, that's going to give you a better mindset, that's going to, look, I think so many people are searching for that. And they're thinking that, man, if I just listen to the right person, if I can just figure this certain thing out, I'm going to level up. My life's going to be so much easier, and I'm going to be able to do so much more than I could have done previous. That's not the way it works. All right. There are no hacks. Life is life. And the mindset that you have and your level of proficiency and the grit that you have, the determination that you have, all of that stuff is a direct result of the way you live your life. It's a direct result of putting in the work, okay? I don't want to sound like some big tough dude here, but look, if you're searching for something in the first place to make your life easier, you are looking at it from the wrong perspective. The whole reason that we want to do the work, the whole reason that we want to push ourselves, the whole reason we want to learn from each other, these tactics, techniques, and procedures that have allowed me to accomplish whatever great things in my life, really hard things. We want to learn those things so we can increase our capacity for difficulty. It's not to make your life easier. You see the difference between the two? Do you see the difference? If you're listening to this podcast right now saying, hopefully Chad tells me something today that's going to make my life easier. It's never going to happen. I'm going to give you the tools that have worked for me and that have allowed me to increase my capacity for difficulty. That is the lens that you have to look through, all right? I'm not saying that life always has to be hard, and you guys know me. I subscribe to be hard when it gets hard, all right? But the reason I am who I am is a direct reflection of the work that I have put in. Let me tell you a little story real quick. I can remember when my wife had just gotten out of rehab. And so she was just kind of getting on her feet and experiencing, her new life without addiction. And we went out on a bike ride. And I remember my wife, it was a beautiful day and it was a good bike ride. And I remember she looked at me and she was like, this is it. This is all there is to life, just regular life. And I'm like, yeah, life is just life. That is what it is. Every day is not going to be some grand, spectacular revelation or some breakthrough. Life is just life. And that was really interesting for me to get to see it from her perspective. And I wonder if it doesn't resonate with some of you guys. You expect as you move forward and you get, you climb the ladder and you get better and better. You expect every day to be some revelation or some breakthrough or some new thing. And it's like, that's not how it is for me. Life is just life. There are no hacks to making every day some spectacular, crazy new experience. It's life. It is beautiful. But you have to learn to find fulfillment, enjoyment, beauty in that everyday life, in the things around you, in the people around you. All right? That is key. That is key. Don't look at these cats on social media and think that that's what real life is all about. That ain't how they live their life. They're just portraying that. They're probably actually paying somebody to portray that for them. All right? Life is just life. I don't care where you are, what your background is. It doesn't matter. I hope you guys get that. I'm not trying to be negative here. I love regular life. But it's unhealthy to think that every single day has to be some groundbreaking thing, right? All right. So, gosh. Oh, last thing I want to say on this is a lot of people ask me, especially out on the basic course, they say, after you do something like this, now the basic course is one of those unique times in life where, you get a couple days where every day is going to be a steep learning curve, groundbreaking, really a lot of revelation and growth comes out of those days that we spend out there together with the classes. But, a lot of the team members ask me, say, what do you do after you get finished with something like this? Like, well, first of all, after you're finished with something like that, after you go through something like that and you have all of this new information, new inspiration, all of this motivation, the first thing you do is you make a promise to yourself that you're going to share it with other people, that you're going to become the teacher, all right? So you have a job to do once you get done with something like the basic course or whatever you've chosen to do that's going to feed you body, soul, and spirit, and you got all this new stuff. You got it. So you got a job to do when it's over. When it's over, it's not over. You have to take those principles, those skills, those things, and teach them to others. You have a responsibility to your fellow human. But inevitably, when you finish up some magnificent mission like that, you are going to, there's going to be a valley. All right, you got to come down off the mountain sometime. There's going to be a valley, and that's what everybody wants to know about. How do you deal with that? How do you not have to go into that valley? How do you not have to, experience that kind of drop off, right? After you've been up on the summit for so long, and it's like that's impossible. So what do I do after I experience, some reach some massive goal or finish a really tough race or even come back from a basic course, what do? When I get in that valley, this is not what you guys probably want to hear. I just bask in it. I mean, I'll take 2-3 days where I just tell my whole team here at 3 of 7 Project, I'm like, hey guys, I'm depressed right now. I understand that this is part of the process. I'm acknowledging it, but I'm not going to beat myself up about it. And I'll sit around the dang house and watch TV and eat ice cream and just bask in it. And now I'm not going to allow myself to stay there for a long period of time. And it's part of the natural process anyway, so it's not like I have to fight my way out of it. I just let it happen, man. And naturally, I'm within a couple days, I'm back out of it, and I'm striving for whatever the next part of my mission is. So understand, there again, there's no hack. You can't skip the valley when you can't stay on the summit all the time, and you can't just fly from summit to summit, right? You're gonna come down. There's no cheating that. You shouldn't even want to cheat it. It's part of the dang process of growing as a human being. Don't cheat that. Freaking let it happen. Learn to deal with it. And move forward with life. And don't beat yourself up about it. You just did something awesome. Like, it's cool to have it's human nature, man. So, all right, we're going to transition here in just a second. I do want to let you guys know this episode is brought to you by Salty Britches. You guys have heard me talk about Salty Britches. It is the #1 anti-chafing cream on the market. Today, it is what I use on all of my ultra marathons, training runs. We use it out at the basic course. My favorite thing to do with it is to take and put a thin layer over my entire foot, pull my Xoskin sock on over the top, and it prevents any hot spots or, the Xoskin socks are great standalone. The Salty Britches just takes it to the next level. And, I did the 100-mile race a couple weeks ago. I'm talking 100 miles, no sock change, no shoe change. So same socks and shoes the entire race, never took them off, didn't have a single blister or hot spot. Not a single blister or hot spot. 100-mile trail race in the Georgia summertime, dusty, heat, nasty, wet, crossing creeks, wet, dry, nothing. It works. So if you run, if you get outside, you move, you generate sweat, you might experience a little chafing, go buy you some Salty Britches. Check them out online at getsaltybritches.com. Go follow them on Instagram at getsaltybritches. They've given us a pro code. I'll attach it in the show notes of this episode. It's a good piece of kit just to have on you all the time. Throw a tube in your truck, throw a tube in your everyday carry bag and in your running box, and you're going to be good to go. Our other sponsor for the show is Xoskin. You guys heard me talk about Xoskin. They are awesome. All of their they make fitness apparel, basically. You can use this stuff for running or CrossFit or whatever you do anytime you're, again, generating body heat and sweat. They have special fabric. It's designed to where it channels moisture away from the skin. Moisture and salt and all that nasty stuff, again, that causes chafing. Xoskin is specially designed to prevent that. And it also has copper fiber woven into the fabric. So it doesn't produce odor-causing bacteria. It actually eliminates it. So I like my Xoskin shorts. Dude, I'll straight up run like 2 weeks in those. I run every day, usually twice a day. I'll run like 2 weeks in those things and won't even wash them. And they're good to go. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. So I use the socks, the shorts, the tops, usually from head to toe. I'm covered in Xoskin because it works, because it's 100% made in America, because I know it's not going to let me down, because I know it lasts longer than anything else. And That's important to me. All right. So go get you some Xoskin. Yeah. Check them out on Instagram. I think it's at Xoskin USA, and then their website is Xoskin.US. So I'll attach them in the show notes also. All right, let's transition real quick. You know, we talked for just a second briefly about mindset being a direct reflection of the work that we put in. All right. So look, if you are not willing to put in the work, you need to adjust your expectations for your life, your ability, again, the level of difficulty that you can handle, your proficiency. If you're not willing to put in the work, you need to adjust your expectations on what you're going to be able to accomplish in life. All right? I made a post about this the other day, guys, and I think that people don't understand when you see a person in life that has been quote unquote successful in some way, shape, or form, or maybe you somebody that is a mentor to you that you aspire to be like. When you see that person, you just see them, what they're doing day in and day out. You can't see what it took to get to that place. And I wonder sometimes, what people think when they look at me and they say, well, dang, Chad just gets to trail run every day. And, you know, he's traveling and speaking and, you know, all this. I don't even know what you guys think of me, but I'm sure there are people out there that look at me like, oh man, how did Chad get to this point in life where he can just accomplish seemingly whatever he decides to go out and tackle? Look, I promise you, it did not come free. If only I could take you back through my past and show you the millions of repetitions, the thousands and thousands of hours, the endurance, the pain, the suffering, the uncertainty. If I could take you back and show you the situations that I've been in, that I've had to endure, there's some of the craziest, you wouldn't even freaking believe it. It would be like taking you into some dream world. And I'm not saying that I'm anything special. I'm just saying that those things are that's what has allowed me or has shaped me into who I am today. It doesn't come overnight, guys. This is the long game. I've only been out of the Navy for a year and a half, man. I spent the whole rest of my adult life putting in the work. All right? So that now I can do what I'm doing now. So don't think that it's impossible for it to come overnight. Please have a appreciation for the process that we're going through as human beings. No matter where you are at in your life, if you continue to push and put in the work, nobody can take that away from you. The stories that you'll develop, nobody can take those stories away from you. All right? So be thinking about the long game. Be thinking about why you're on this journey to reach whatever place that you want to get to. Why are you on this journey? Are you on this journey so you can make posts about it? Dude, I didn't know what Instagram was until a year and a half ago. Are you on this journey because you want everybody else to see what you're enduring? I'll tell you what drives me crazy. Some of these folks, I'm not naming any names, but some of these folks on social media that post these videos of them talking while they're running. They're like running along and they're talking and they're saying something motivational. And I'm like, this joker is posting this because they want everybody else to know that they're out running. Like that even freaking matters. Look, why are you doing this? It's not because it's not for anybody else other than maybe your family. It's not so other people can see you and think, look, I don't care if you know I'm out. I will never post a dang running video just so you know that I'm out running. All right. If you have a doubt that I'm out running, just go ahead. I can go ahead and be up front with you and tell you I am out running. I'm doing it. I'm putting in the work. All right. Still to this day. Look, I was in the Navy for 12, I think right at 12 years. Look, when I got my SEAL Trident, man, you want to talk about something special. When you get your SEAL Trident, that is like one of the most special moments that I've ever had in my whole life. And when you get your SEAL Trident, look, nobody knows. We weren't doing social media back then in the first place, and you couldn't even explain to anybody what it took to get that Trident. They wouldn't even they could not even grasp it in their mind. All right? So I got my Trident on my uniform now. I earned it. Now, for 10 years, I wore that Trident on my uniform. The first 2 years of my career was training. For 10 years, I wore that Trident. I never once wore that Trident in public, unless it was for a funeral, and I wore it to my own wedding. That was it. I never once wore my Trident in public. Why? Because I don't need recognition for the work that I'm doing, for the work that I put in. I didn't do it for anybody else. I did it for me. And it was enough for me to know that uniform was hanging in my locker at the SEAL team. And that Trident was pinned there. And I had the right to wear it if I so chose to. 12 years. You guys didn't know who I was. Everything I did was for my country and for me, and never had recognition. So just let that sink in. Think about your why. If your why is so that other people can look at you and think that you're something great, or look at you and maybe aspire to be like you, or want to follow you, or want to buy something from you, or want something from you, if that's where your why is being generated, it's a dead-end street. That's a dead-end street. I want you to just do a little self-reflection on that. All right, there is a Bible verse I want to share with you guys. Hold on, let me look it up. Give me just a second. All right, you guys are gonna like this one. I'm sorry I wasn't gonna share a Bible verse with you, but this is one I read. This is one I read the other day, and I just had to share it with you. All right, let's see if this is going to work or not. All right, yeah. All right, here it is. From there, Elisha went up to Bethel. As he was walking along the road, some boys came out of town and jeered at him. "Get out of here, you old bald head," They said, "Get out of here, you old bald head." All right, so these kids are making fun of Elisha, telling him to get out of town and making fun of him for being an old bald-headed dude. Let me carry on. He turned around. Elisha turned around. He looked at them and called down a curse on them in the name of the Lord. And 2 female bears came out of the woods and mauled 42 of the youths. This is in the Bible. Have you guys read that? I mean, what an epic story. The stuff that is in the Bible, I don't even think people know what's in there. All right, I got to read it to you one more time. This is in New King James Version, which is the version of the Bible that I read. Then he went up from there to Bethel, and as he was going up the road, some youths came from the city and mocked him, saying, "Go up, you bald head, go up, you bald head." So he turned around and looked at them and pronounced a curse on them in the name of the Lord, and 2 female bears came out of the woods and mauled 42 of the youths. Man, what are you supposed to take from that? First of all, I guess we shouldn't make fun of men of God and women of God. And look, as a child of God and a servant of Jesus Christ, you are not weak. You are not weak. You are a warrior. You are a warrior. Understand that, okay? So don't allow the people that are jeering at you or maybe calling you a fool or laughing at the way that you live your life. Don't allow the freaking academia and the educational system telling you that your beliefs are outdated and that it's illogical to think that the Bible. Dude, you are a warrior. Freaking let that crap roll off your shoulder. And if you want to read about some hard men of God, go read about Elijah and Elisha. And that's in Kings, I think 1st and 2nd Kings. Go read about those men of God. Them jokers was rough, son. Them jokers was rough. Hope you enjoyed this comms check. I went a little long. We're at 28 minutes right now. Hope you enjoyed my ramblings, guys. I love you guys. I appreciate it. We'll talk soon. Enough said.